Sometimes, the hardest part of faith is not believing in God, but believing that He is listening when everything feels quiet. There are moments in life when prayers feel unanswered, when days pass, then weeks, then months, and heaven feels silent. You pray, you wait, you hope, and still nothing changes, no sign, no miracle, no clear direction, only silence, and in that silence, a question slowly grows inside your heart. God, are you still there? The silence of God is one of the most misunderstood parts of faith, because silence feels like absence. It feels like abandonment. It feels like being forgotten. But silence is not the same as stillness, and stillness is not the same as inactivity. Just because God is quiet does not mean He is doing nothing. Think about a seed, buried deep in the ground. Above the soil, everything looks unchanged. No movement, no growth, no sign of life. But underneath, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming, strength is building, life is preparing to rise. The seed would never grow if it stayed on the surface. And sometimes, God places us underground, not to punish us, but to prepare us. God often does His deepest work in seasons when we feel the least, not on the mountaintop, not in the applause, but in the quiet, in the waiting, in the unseen moments. Because faith is not built when everything is loud and clear. Faith is built when you choose to trust without evidence. There are prayers that God answers immediately, and then there are prayers He answers slowly, not because He doesn't care, but because timing matters. A blessing given too early can destroy us. A door opened too soon can lead us into places we are not ready to survive. So sometimes, God protects you by being silent. You may be asking God to remove the pain, but God may be using that pain to remove something else. Pride. Fear. Dependence on people instead of dependence on Him. Sometimes, God does not change the situation because He is changing you. The silence of God teaches us something powerful, that faith is not about feelings, because feelings change, emotions rise and fall. But faith is a decision to trust even when you don't understand, even when answers don't come, even when the night feels long. If you are listening to this in a season of waiting, let me gently tell you something. God sees you. He sees the tears you cry alone. He hears the prayers you whisper quietly. He knows the questions you are afraid to ask, and He is not disappointed in you for feeling tired. Some of the strongest believers in history walked through silence. They waited, they wondered, they struggled, but later, they realized something. God was working behind the scenes the entire time, aligning events, moving hearts, closing dangerous paths, preparing better ones. Silence is not God saying no. Often, silence is God saying, trust me, wait, I am not finished yet. Faith grows slow, just like healing, just like maturity, just like peace. And while you wait, God is teaching you how to lean on Him, instead of leaning on outcomes. One day, you will look back at this season, and what feels confusing now will make sense later. You will see how the delay protected you, how the silence strengthened you, how the waiting shaped you. Until then, rest, not because everything is solved, but because God is in control. You do not need to understand every step. You only need to keep walking. If God is silent right now, do not lose heart. He is still working, still guiding, still shaping your future, even in the quiet. Especially in the quiet, take a deep breath, let your heart be still, because the same God who hears your prayers is the same God who knows exactly when to answer them. When God is silent, He is still working.